is enjoying their Halloween Eve, because that's what we're at right now, October 30th. And so in my last video, I told you guys that I would show you how much I've made in cryptocurrencies, and also how you can do it yourself, right? So first off, we have another cryptocurrency here called Ethereum. It's actually the second largest right now as far as things go. We can see that right here. So Ethereum right here with a $37 billion market cap, whereas Bitcoin is at 129 billion. And you can see quite a few things here. So we can compare it, right? So this is $305 US, right? And if we go down here and we look at the graph, we can see where things are and how far they've come, right? So it used to be here as of January 2016. So each unit was 89 cents, right? And now we're at a point where each unit is $305 US, okay? So in Canadian, right now, according to the Ethereum News Live Network, it is at $401 per Ethereum, okay? So before we continue, let's take a look at the history of Bitcoin, and then I can show you guys where I started out and where I am now. So here we go. So we can see here that Bitcoin right now is $6,082 US a unit, right? And if we go back here, we can get another graph on that. Just click into Bitcoin and look at the graph. Like, it's only going up, right? I mean, we looked at this in the other video as well. But where I had 2.4 Bitcoin not too long ago, and since there's been a lot of drastic changes going on with Bitcoin, which we'll talk about soon enough, I actually sold my Bitcoin out on the higher end of the graph, and then I invested into other things. So right now we can see Bitcoin is at 6,095 US, and if we go down, it's had some drops, right? So 5,670 and stuff like that. And this is just in October. It's been going crazy. Now, and that is because of the BitGold hard fork that occurred, I believe it was late on the 24th of October. There was the BitGold hard fork. And so things were rising up, right? Like the market cap was rising up for Bitcoin, and then BitGold sold out, and then Bitcoin just dropped down slowly, right? And now that wasn't really projected. What we thought what would happen is the BitGold would be sold off and then put back into Bitcoin, and then the stocks would just keep rising. Like the value of Bitcoin would just keep rising, right? And we didn't see that right off the bat, so it's kind of interesting. What we actually saw is the cryptocurrency, the other altcoins, the other cryptocurrencies, they actually started going up, and then they dropped off slowly. So I can show you guys that. Just a second here. So if we look at the 7 days, right? In 7 days, this is how it has changed, right? So from 309, and then it dropped down to 296, 295, and then it started going back up again to where we are now, 306, 310, right? And now it's starting to go back down again, right? So now the thing that we have to note here is later in this month, or no, I guess it would be in November, right? In mid-November, there's another Bitcoin hard fork going on, and they're going to have SegWit2 come out, and a lot of people are tossing and turning a little bit about it, right? Because they don't know how they're going to move 129 billion dollars in a market cap into basically what would be another Bitcoin currency with a different map out. So I'll talk more about that in depth in another video. But essentially, what I'm saying is I'm pulling my money out of Bitcoin because I think there's going to be some pretty intense developments over the next, 16, 17 days. Okay? So anyways, let's get back into what I have made and where I'm at now and why I'm here. So I initially started out with $600, right? Because I wanted to see, okay, does this really work? Is it going to, are they going to just take my money and steal it and I'll never see it again? Or like what is going to happen here, right? And so I sent $600 to one of the exchanges in Japan, right? Everybody thought I was nuts. They're like, you sent $600 to some people in Japan? Like, it's gone. You're never going to see it again, right? No, it doesn't really work like that. Like, everything is tracked. The companies are reputable. The banks are reputable. I work with one of the bigger banks in Canada, and they had everything on record, right? As far as where I was sending the money, the SWIFT numbers I was using, and et cetera, for bank wires, right? So whatever, send it out there. Like 2 weeks later, they had the funds, and then I was able to use that and buy cryptocurrency and sell cryptocurrency and stuff like that with the $600 I had initially sent, right? So then at that point, I said, you know what, like, let's start working with some bigger numbers, right? So I transferred like $2,000, and then I just kept doing $2,000 until I got my way up to 12,600, right? And so what that equates to is 2.44 Bitcoin, right? Which is now valued at $19,067, right? So that growth right there is, like $7,000, or just shy of 7,000, right? Yeah, so it's quite a bit of growth there. So what I have done in the meantime is I've taken my money out and I've invested it into Ethereum. Now, before I explain why I did that, let's look at what I've invested in, and then I'll explain why I've done as such. So here on August 29th, I bought 850 Ripple, right, which is XRP. That's the code name on the exchange. And at that time, one Bitcoin was valued at 4,390. So this is back in August. And I bought the 850 Ripple because it has a really promising objective with its whole situation, right? You research every coin that you invest in. You want to see what their objectives are, where they want to take things, and how promising their will is to follow through with things, right? And so they've been doing fantastic so far, and so I invested what would now be worth about $220 into Ripple. And then I invested into Ethereum Classic, Omise Go, Neo, and Ethereum, right? And again, for all of these coins, they're being run by individuals that show a lot of promise. They have shown a lot of promise in the past. Their graphs basically show a lot of consistency. There isn't a lot of ups and downs and kind of everywhere. They all kind of keep their value, and then you'll see resistance at some of the lines in the graph where it just doesn't drop below that, right? And I mean, for one of those examples is Ethereum Classic, right? It's been going down for a little while, as you can see in the graph, right? But the nice part about this is it has never dropped below like 10 bucks. Like right here it did 9.85, and then it jumped right up to 11.93. So I'm pretty happy with that. It hasn't gone too much lower. But you can see it all the way up here at $22.58. Now this was at the time, I don't know, let me see here. Yeah, September 1st, so $21.94. This happened when the last Ethereum hard fork happened, just prior to that, right? And so we've seen it happen before, and I think we're going to see it happen again. I do believe that Ethereum Classic is going to rebound for one of their projects or one of their objectives. In fact, it may happen when the Bitcoin hard fork happens, right? Because I think what's going to happen with the Bitcoin hard fork is we're going to see either two different currencies, right? So, which would mean that their market cap would split, right? And ideally it would happen 50-50, but I really don't think that's going to be the case. Some people may just say, you know what, segregated witness 2 is not going to work for us, and we're going to drop it, and we're just going to work with the regular Bitcoin because we've seen that it works, we trust it, and we're already invested into it. So why would we make the switch? Type of deal. They could just get the currency from SegWit2 and then just sell it and put it back into Bitcoin, right? We don't know. But what I do think is that Bitcoin is going to drop off prior to the hard fork. I think that may be the case. And I think because Bitcoin is at an all-time high, and after this major, groundbreaking change, people are going to say, you know what, I'm taking my money out right now, because if after this groundbreaking change, Bitcoin doesn't rebound as much as we thought it would, then we're going to be losing money, right? So that's what I've done. I've pulled my money out of Bitcoin, and I put it into other things, like I said. So again, I've invested in Ethereum Classic because I think it's going to rebound, and I bought it at an all-time low, which is generally what you want to do, right? You want to buy things low, and then you want to sell them high, right? So again, if we go back to this pad here, we can see I bought Omise Go, which is about $100 worth, just shy of that maybe, and I bought it at $45.90, right, when Bitcoin was worth that much, and things like that. So I bought 45 NEO at 0.0068 at the 9th of October, and then I took the rest of my remaining Bitcoin and I bought Ethereum at 0.0551. And again, the reason why I did that is because I think while there's going to be some groundbreaking changes for Bitcoin come the middle of November, I think the altcoins are going to be going up. That's my feeling on this. And again, we can see in the graph here for Ethereum, it hasn't really gone too far down of where we thought it would be. So here, if we go from the start of October, it's been at $301 US. And we go all the way down to here, it's at 305. So we're seeing some resistance here. And I really think it's only going to be going up. I don't think it's going to be going too far down. And you know what? If it did go down to $260 or $270, I would just buy more. Because Ethereum has been a really awesome stock, or well, I refer to it as a stock, but an awesome coin as of late. So I've been really impressed with it. And again, I'm buying it at an all-time low. I think I made my purchase right about here-ish, or just shy of this, but 0.051 or 551, and we're at 0.0563. So it's pretty close. So you can see on the graph here, I'm buying it on the very low end, and whereas, back here it was top end, right? So the reason why it's dropped off so much is because Bitcoin has been going up. So the more Bitcoin goes up, everything kind of drops down as far as the trading goes. But when Bitcoin drops, everything else goes up, and that's what we want to see. And again, I really feel like that's going to happen here. Neo is up through the roof right now. Actually, it says a 0.36% gain, but if you look at the value of it in Canadian dollars, $36, that's fantastic per unit. And we've seen it at $55 or $60 before, $41 US. If we transfer that into Canadian, that is $52.58, which is amazing, really. So yeah, and I bought Neo at $20 a unit ish, something like that. But again, if we go back to our notepad here and we get right down to the root of it, I have 32 Ethereum valued at $12,873, which just my Ethereum alone covers my initial investment of $12,600, right? So that's pretty fantastic as far as that goes. So I bought Ethereum back then, and that already covers my initial investment. So anything after that point is just profit, right? So whereas if I had kept my initial Bitcoin and I never bought anything else and I just let it sit, I would have $19,000 worth of currency that I could liquidate today, tomorrow, as long as everything stayed the same with the coins. Then I would have that in my bank account, right? Which is phenomenal, really. I mean, there's a lot of potential for this to pay off people's debts, their line of credit. If you wanted to buy a new car, that can happen. There is a lot of value here. There really is, right? So it's pretty intense. So anyways, like I was saying, $12,873 covers my initial investment. Everything after that is profit. So this is $2,900, basically $3,300, $3,500 or so I've made. So $3,500 $3,500 has just been profit right now. Like if I cashed out right now, I would have $3,500. But you know what? I'm not going to cash out because again, I do have a lot of hopes that that things will go up in value because right now we're at the bottom end of these cryptocurrencies, right? So like for Ethereum, it's really at the bottom end of where we've seen it before, and so is Neo. Neo can really go up quite a bit. Like this is where we are with Neo. I have 45 of these hanging out in my account, and like we've seen where it's been before, $43, $48 US, and right now it's at $28.99. So again, I think that when the Bitcoin hard fork really hits us in the middle of November or just prior to the middle of November, we're going to see these altcoins go up because people are going to be selling their Bitcoin and they're going to be investing in altcoins, I think, either before the hard fork or after the hard fork. Because it could very well be that this groundbreaking change for Bitcoin, really isn't ideal. Right? There's a lot of people that are really, just kind of, I don't want to lose my money. Some people sell their houses and then they invest in Bitcoin, right? So, I mean, to play it really safe, if you had your house on the line for that situation, I mean, if it were me, I would be pulling my money out because if per se Bitcoin drops 10 or 15% after that groundbreaking change, that's a lot of money gone, right? And I mean, it could rebound, right? We have always seen Bitcoin rebound, for sure. But I mean, in the time that altcoins go up and Bitcoin is down for that moment, we can sell our altcoins and then buy Bitcoin again and watch it go back up again, right? If that's the case. But we're going to see, Ethereum's been playing pretty hard at 37 billion and it hasn't really been going down. So it's been doing pretty good as far as that goes. If we go into here, we can see the market caps, right? From June, we saw it drop off in July, it came back in August, like that quick. Dropped off in the middle of September, and it came back that same month. You know, and we saw it at a decent high in the middle of October, right, at 336, 342, you know, which was fantastic. So, and the market cap's been doing decently well. So I really think it's only going to go up. I mean, Ethereum just has a lot of promise behind its project and its objectives. So that is what I have invested in. That is how much money I have made with cryptocurrencies and managing them. Also, you can see here, I had initially 75 Ethereum Classic, and now I have 95. The reason for that is I would buy on the lows of Ethereum Classic, and then I would sell on the highs, and that actually netted me some extra currency. Because with what I sold at and with what I bought at, I was able to purchase more just based on making those really good trades. So if we go back to Ethereum Classic quickly here, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So in situations like this, it wouldn't be in May, but in situations like here, I would buy at 1672 US, right? And then I would sell at 1986 US, right? Or I would buy at 1439 and then I would sell at 2194, right? And then whatever profit I made from that, I would buy more Ethereum Classic. And so that's just my trading growth as far as that goes. So, I mean, as far as an investment vehicle, it is, cryptocurrencies are fantastic, I will say, but you have to know, you have to research the coins and the projects, and you have to know when to buy, when to sell, and what to expect. You never really know what's going to happen with things like these, but you can make a pretty darn good educated guess, right? Just by doing some research. So, and that ups your percentage chance of creating revenue pretty substantially, I'd say. Yeah, so in 3 months, so from August up until October, I've made 27% of a return on my initial investment. So if we do 3,500 divided by 12, 6. So, and then we just times it by 100 for easier viewing. So 27.7% repeating. In 3 months, 27.7% of a return, which is really amazing for any investment vehicle to do. Usually, like on the high end, you get 12% or 15% back. And here you can see the yield. If I withdrew all of my money right now, we would see an increase of 27.7%. That's like groundbreaking. So that's pretty good. And I mean, if we were working against, if my initial investment was $100,000, right? Like we can times that right now. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's right there. I mean, that's mind-numbing math, but I want to show you guys the figures, right? So $27,000 from August up until now could have been made had the funds been there initially. Like that's life-changing, right? That's life-changing funds. So in this scenario, we made $3,500. If this doesn't blow you away, I really don't know what does, because that is a lot of money. That is a lot of money that was being generated there. And I mean, we can see it right here on Quadriga, right? People are selling at $402 a unit of Ethereum. This gentleman here is selling 276 units of Ethereum for $111,000, right? And they'll sell. I mean, if we go down, we can see here, this guy sold at $401 a unit. He sold 34 units and just made 13 grand, 13.8 grand, right? It's it is really fantastic that these altcoins and cryptocurrencies are as liquid as they are. It definitely puts a lot more value into this type of investment vehicle. So hopefully that tells you or how I've made the money that I have in the time that I have. And gives you a little bit of an expectation of what's to come as far as my views are concerned. Everybody has a different opinion in this situation, where things will go, what's going to happen. But yeah, so I mean, the best thing you can do is just research things if you're investing in this altcoins and stuff like that. Research what you're going to invest into. Make sure that there's a lot of promise, and also look back at the statistics, because the statistics tell the real story, right? No matter how good a promise is, if it doesn't have a good history or a good backing, then you know what, it may not be profitable to invest in. So I wish everybody a safe and happy Halloween, and Halloween Eve as well. Hopefully nobody bashes in your pumpkins. That would suck, like, terribly, especially if you made an awesome pumpkin. And I hope everybody is safe, and I hope you guys have a lot of fun out there. I wish you lots of candy. Okay, take care, and stay tuned for the next video.